Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Behold, the 2023 American Liberty gold coin. Let's explore! Indeed, we got confirmation from coinworld.com that the Citizens of Fine Arts matches the CCA design selections for the 2023 American Liberty coins, which means this is probably going to be what the coin is going to look like, because it needs one more level of authorization, and that is the Treasury Secretary of the United States, Janet Yellen. Let's go through this article from Coin World, and we'll take a look at the designs in closer detail and see what we have here. The Commission of Fine Arts recommends the same designs favored by the CCAC for the proof 2023 W minted, that's West Point minted American Liberty high relief gold $100 coin and silver metal. The Commission of Fine Arts on February the 17th recommended the same proposed obverse and reverse designs favored 2 days before by the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee for the proof 2023 American Liberty high relief gold $100 gold coin and silver metal. The devices on whatever designs Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen or her designee approve will appear on both the 9999 fine gold and the 39s fine silver metal, but the latter will be without coin inscriptions, and we'll actually take a look at that too. Now, this is kind of new to me. I did not realize that a designated person could approve the designs as opposed to Janet Yellen herself. I thought for sure that it was the Treasury Secretary and her or he alone that approved these designs. But I guess that's not the case. And it's a little disappointing because many of our Treasury Secretaries, they just kind of go with the flow. And this is why more than likely this design will be chosen and will be used because most of them are not coin collectors or have any idea about coin design, and just take the opinion of the experts. And in this case, the CCAC and the CFA, well, they are committees made up of multiple individuals, and they both agree on the same designs. So more than likely it will be approved. The Mint is also contemplating the production and release of a proof 10th ounce 49s fine gold $10 coin in addition to the $100 gold coin version, much like they did in 2018 after the 2017 release of the American Liberty gold coin. The coins will exhibit a reeded edge, while the metal will be struck with a plain edge, as is typically the case. The mint mark of the producing facility will appear on the metal's reverse. The silver metal will include the inscriptions Liberty, We Shall Persevere, and the date 2023. The recommended designs are thematic of the program focus of liberty through perseverance. The proposed obverse design, according to the U.S. Mint narrative, features a bristlecone pine, a species native to California, Nevada, and Utah, thought to be the oldest living organisms on Earth. And I didn't realize that when I was reviewing these designs. I was like, what kind of tree is this? Very odd and strange. And some people thought it may have been the charter oak in Connecticut, but no, this is indeed appropriate considering what it is, but it is very strange. We'll look at it here momentarily. Living up to 5,000 years, bristlecone pines grow in places where other plants cannot. The proposed reverse design depicts the moments before a bald eagle's first attempt at flight. A young bald eagle stands on a rocky outcropping, looking over its shoulder just before finding the courage to fly. And so there is the what we're looking at there. But we're going to take a look at these a little more closely here. But let's first look here at the 2021 American Liberty, which for the first time, liberty is represented by something other than a human. or representation of a human, such as the Statue of Liberty. Lady Liberty is typically depicted as the symbol of liberty. In this case, in 2021, they did something a little different. They used a bucking horse, and largely it was met with great fanfare. Most people like this version. It's essentially representative of bucking off the burden of the British, and we broke away. But however, this is an interesting design and very well crafted, and pleased to have this in my collection. I actually have all of the coins in the series, save for the 2017. I've just not been able to find a price that I'm willing to pay for that coin. And they're pretty pricey, even though I think it's the highest mintage of the series, I believe. The reverse contains the eagle, a very close portrait of the eagle with its mouth open, the bald eagle. I'm not as big a fan of that design because I'm not a big fan of eagles with their mouths open like that and portraits of eagles on coins as much, but that's just my personal opinion. So let's take a look here, and we can see here's a bristlecone cone pine here, and I think it's interesting. It definitely looks strange, but the trees probably themselves do look strange. In fact, here are some images of what the actual bristlecone pine trees look like, and you can see here that they definitely have a different look to them, very unique, and look pretty rugged there. And although in this case the trunk does not look all that out of sorts, but you can see in other images here that it is a very contorted look to the trunk and the branches going out. And here looks like there's eyes in this thing. So it is the nature. Here's another looks to be like an eye in here, as we can see. And here is a look at the tree up close and others around it. Amazing how these things have survived all these years for so long. That is perseverance for sure. And here is another example. You can see the landscape around it is quite arid and looks very not hospitable to most life, much less bristlecone pine trees. And here is another example of what the branches look like, and here is one that appears to be either dying or close to it, and this one in the foreground appears to have died. But you can see again a lot of the contortion of these branches here. So that gives you an example of a reference for what this is. And here we see this bristlecone pine. So with that being said, this is actually brilliantly done in that regard, because it does represent what the tree looks like. And so that eye now makes sense that I had criticized before. However, I do think the only difference that I would say is that, considering the composition, that they could have had one in the background or something here filling up this space, and maybe move In God We Trust over here or down a little bit closer together. In fact, we can see here's the metal version, and it'll say We Shall Persevere for the silver metal. And so there that is. So so this would be the second time that the United States Mint will have used a non-human entity to represent liberty in this series. Instead, this time it is a tree that is very old, and I guess in a sense it makes sense when you think about perseverance. So with that being said, it'll be interesting to see how it is actually rendered on the coin itself, because you have these pine branches here, which are going to be very difficult to really portray in a metal, on metal. Will it look like hair, like or how will that be? The texture of this will be quite interesting to see how that plays out. In a sense, this almost seems too dense of an area, because when you look at the actual trees themselves, now you can see that there are areas of density, but a lot of it is kind of spread out, and I think they could have done something like this as an example to use for these trees. Now this is a pretty solid, in fact, this very well could be the one that they have used as a reference, and there are pine cones on this tree, And I hope they were able to capture those. And they very well could be on here, but we're not getting a close look at this. Oh, wait, here we go. We can zoom in on it. So when you zoom in on it, it really is kind of penciled in here. You really can't see any pine cones. And in a sense, you should be able to. So this is my only criticism, I think, of this so far is the composition, how these are laid out. These branches are laid out here. But nonetheless, there that is. Now let's take a look at the reverse of the coin. And actually, we're going to go over here and go to the next following page here. We've got all of these different versions. I like some of the other eagles better, but I think I'm fine with this reverse as well. So this is the reverse that they have chosen according to Coin World. Let's go back and look again. Yes, that's it there. And there we go. We've got it. So there is the reverse, and the eagle is on this rock outcropping. And one could perhaps think of that rock outcropping being on the same piece of land that the bristlecone pine is. I don't know. I don't know where eagles live or fly, but none of that could be one suggestion. So there it is, and you can see the 1 ounce 999 fine gold, United States of America, there in the background. And so there that design is. Very interesting indeed. And I think that should translate well on the coin. And there is the silver version. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are about the 2023 American Liberty Gold coin. Likely Janet Yellen or her designee will approve these designs, and this will be next year's, hard to believe only a year away, that this coin will be available. And is it something that you're interested in buying? Whether it be the silver version or the gold version, let me know in the comments section below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.